And welcome, friends and foes, noobs and pros, to the second day of spring. Are you enjoying it so far? Please let us know in the comment section.
Enjoying it so far?
By the way, we're streaming live to Twitch because the platform is so good, and we've got videos demonetized once again on YouTube. So all the more reason to get ready to view things on Alt Tech, as it's the future. So check us out on BitChute if you haven't already done so. Let's take some looks at the sun here. How about the 94 angstroms view? To see 0 sunspots. Small active cycle 24 plage region has just risen near the equator, and a small active region up here in the north as well. Significantly fast solar wind coming in, creating a small uptick in the geomagnetism. Here's the view in 93 angstroms. Only one less angstrom than the 94 angstroms. And by the way, we are coming at you ballin' hard, as we've got not only TP, but also an undisclosed number of bottles of elderberry wine. So it's all classified. We've decided to continue to make our broadcast from the bunker. And here's some more data. Lots more. Here's HelioViewer. We're going to look at the fields real quick. Take a little look at 171 angstroms plus the fields, so we'll fade that out. And there you see 3 slight regions of magnetic organization, one here, and one up here. Again, 0 sunspots. And again, there's 171 angstroms. We made some custom movies, as we do most days. Here is that active region, which we covered at the exact moment of the equinox, by the way, where we streamed live both to YouTube and to Twitch. Next, we're going to look at the poles in 304 angstroms. Here's the north solar polar region. And here's the south solar polar region. South pole coronal hole looking very large, and indeed south pole magnetism is very much in charge. Allow me to vanish so we can continue on with some more data. Actually, lots more stuff to cover. First, let's go out to Stereo A. Located here, the views you just saw are from the SDO, looking like this. Thanks to all of our new viewers, subscribers, etc. And we see a coronal mass ejection, as well as the comet that we covered a couple days ago has swung around the backside of the sun and is continuing on its route. So there's the coronal mass ejection that we mentioned in the title, and that is not Earth-facing. That is actually headed off in this sort of a direction. So we are able to see this from the SOHO, which again is around there. So nothing to worry about, folks, and we'll be keeping an eye on that comet over the next couple of days. It looked like it broke up, but it indeed swung around the backside of the sun. Here's some more data for you. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux, a good proxy for sunspot number, as it directly correlates with sunspot number, is at 72 solar flux units. Just coming off solar minimum. Here's where things are in the solar system. There's where things will be in 1 week. And oh my God, we've got another rhombus connecting Earth, Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus. Please understand the distinction between Uranus and a hole in the ground. And don't go, oh my God, a rhombus. Here's what's going on above my head. If you want to make yourself a sky chart, head to in-the-sky.org. I like it. And we're seeing a pileup where Jupiter and Mars are practically overlapping to the point where I can't even click on them both. And also Saturn trailing right behind. So if you've got a low horizon, There should be a lovely planetary pileup rising just in the pre-dawn hours, as it's been going on for quite a while, and will continue. If you've got a telescope, please leave a comment. Send a link to your images. We'll feature them on the channel. Here's the GOES X-ray flux, and it's quite flatlined here. And we're not going to cover the Neil Gorell Swift Observatory today, but we do cover this regularly. Look for it in future episodes, as well as cosmic rays. So we regularly cover cosmic rays on the station. Not going to do it today, but there are links below the video if you want to monitor them yourself. And if you see something weird, drop me a line. It's smashomash@gmail.com. Next, we'll look at the real-time solar wind to see. We saw a slight coronal hole magnetic connection likely here, where we saw that 180-degree phi angle area. Since then, phi angle has shifted, and we see a significantly upticked solar wind speed here. We're up to, well, actually it just came down as I did show prep, down to 490 kilometers a second, solar wind density 9.06 protons per cubic centimeter. Here's the data from ACE, and there's the most recent update. Couple little bumps there in the solar wind density. And that high-speed solar wind stream that we see, it's likely a coronal hole wind stream, has raised the magnetohydrodynamic pressure. And here's a 4-hour magnetosphere movie for you. And this is courtesy of University of Michigan Geospace Model V1.5, which is created using the Space Weather Modeling Framework. If you want to read about it, just scroll down to the Details tab, click on that, and you can read all about the Space Weather Modeling Framework. So pretty high pressure there in the magnetosphere, and we see some global magnetic anomalies here. We see extreme creep of the South Pole into the southern Indian Ocean there, south of Australia, as well as significant magnetic pulses coming out of the Hawaii portion of the Pacific Ocean. Significant perturbations over the Canadian North Pole, as it looks like it's creeping toward Washington State. Significant perturbations over the Siberian Pole. We're also going to look at it from the polar view, as that looked pretty anomalous to me. And I would note the way that these look like spirals on the end of the planet, and there is indeed a Birkeland current created in that region. We won't get into the physics. We'll just show you 4 hours of the magnetometer data there. And we'll move on, as this is the daily of space weather. And there's the continued spikiness as forecasted in the GOES magnetometer. When the sun's acting more normally, it's normally a little bit, more like this, where the N's and M's mean midnight and noon time for the satellite. Sadly, we're missing some data here. I believe it's a GOES 15, hoping that gets back online soon. Let's look at the Gong 2 data here. And this is based on 51 ground-based magnetometers on Earth, as well as one on stereo A and one on stereo B. Gives us insight into the innate workings of the sun. This data 1 hour and 20 minutes old. Notice the current sheet completely still charged by the South Pole solar polar field, shown in red. Keep in mind the magnetic environment can change at any moment with absolutely no warning. Here's the line of sight field plot. And that south solar polar field is looking quite strong. Strong enough to charge the entire current sheet with South Pole polarity. Relativistic electrons have come up off of their extremely low levels, as forecasted. And the GOES electron flux has dropped back down again as we see this continued increased solar wind speed. I tend to call this proton light. And again, I'm not going to get into the physics, not in this episode, as there's still lots of stuff to cover, like the ionosphere. So there's 6 hours of data from that. Significant charge up over the northern Indian Ocean there, making it up to 14 megahertz. But nothing too crazy going on. Looking pretty normal there, actually, in the ionosphere. And here's the latest image, that one coming in at 8:30 UT. By the way, please don't forget to press like and subscribe on YouTube. Our content here is massively throttled, shadow banned, and demonetized. So we need your assistance. And we're going to do a quick cosmology segment here. And keep in mind, folks, that I view cosmology as solar study, as the sun's mechanism, the sun's internal structure, how the sun does what it does is not largely understood. And since the sun is the Rosetta Stone of all cosmology, this is why we study it so in depth, as we are watching as science gets rewritten on the daily, which is what's supposed to happen. Sadly, the solar total irradiance tracker has powered down. So now, while total solar irradiance is not any sort of be-all, end-all to measure or predict solar activity, apparently the polar fields are much more useful for that. There is another total solar irradiance monitor, and I'm just going to let the article scroll here so you can read it without even clicking, as we haven't put this one at smashomash.com/forum. Anyway, total solar irradiance is just one of many, many, many variables. It tracks wavelengths from 1 to 2400 nanometers. And while it is an important measure of the sun's output, it is only one measure, and there are a lot of other things that give us more insight into the way the sun behaves. So anyway, the Source mission was only designed to last about 7 years, and it lasted 17 years instead. So hats off to NASA once again for some engineering sleight of hand, allowing this thing to stay in operation as long as it did. And it continues with the TSIS-1. So perhaps read about that. This article is from phys.org. Solar energy tracker powers down after 17 years. Now, we've updated our smashomash.com/forum section about the most. It's in the cosmology forum, as the most energetic stellar winds ever measured. Have a paper about them right now. So Xinfeng Zhu Post, Nahum Arav, and Timothy Miller, Department of Physics at Virginia Tech, have seen the most powerful outflows ever measured coming out of a quasar. And so these massive radio sources are at the cores of ultramassive galaxies, typically at very great distances. And the understanding of these outflows is crucial for the understanding of galaxy formation. Now keep in mind, folks, star and galaxy formation is absolutely not understood at all. We've never seen a star form. We've never seen a star die. But we need to continue to advance the science. And that's part of the reason why we have a section on the most. So check it out. It's smashomash.com/forum. You can get there, you can click there from smashomash.org also. Just scroll down, Cosmology Forum, click on that, and then click on the most. And you'll see all kinds of information about all sorts of objects, whether they're Cygnus A, or the most massive object in the solar system, or the most consistent X-ray source, or the most massive object in the apparent galaxy, etc. And there's a radio image of Cygnus A, if you were wondering. Next, we're going to go back to weather stuff. Can you weather stuff? It's windy.com, who, by the way, also has a great mobile app. Maybe consider checking that out. And we're looking at the pressure map right now, today on Saturday, March 21st. We're going to let this advance via the GFS forecast for about 24 hours. And there's where we expect pressure to be at 1300 tomorrow. All right, next we're going to look at the earthquake rundown, see what's going on seismically. not a lot to comment on. Here's a deep one at the Fiji Islands. It's a 4.6 magnitude and 519 kilometers depth. There's one in Nevada. It's a 4.5. Here's a deep quake at Tajikistan. It's a 4.3 magnitude at 110 kilometers. Here's a deep one in Indonesia, 4.5 at 115 kilometers. Really, it's a 7 magnitude earthquake drought, folks, and it continues. If you are in areas such as these, please have an earthquake plan, as we want you to be an asset, not a liability in the event of further disaster. Let's start going, oh my God! Oh my God, it's COVID-19. And welcome to the Neo-Renaissance, folks. If you haven't been to smAsho.org, you can get to the forum right here. Just click on this blue link down here toward the bottom of the page. We've updated it, once again, as we have an extensive 14-page plus long section about coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, global pandemic. So yesterday's article that we posted was about herd immunity, which refers to a situation where enough people in a population have immunity to an infection to be able to effectively stop the disease from spreading. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter if it comes from vaccination or from natural immunity from people who had the disease. The crucial thing is that you're immune. With the new coronavirus infection called COVID-19, as more and more people become infected, there will be more and more people who recover and more who are immune. So when about 70% of the population has been infected and recovered, the chances of outbreaks become much less because most people are resistant. So if you want to read about that, feel free. It's smAshomash.com/forum in the free-for-all forum. So we got a letter from Pat Brown today that we put in there that showed up as an email. So if you want to read about what's going on in Pennsylvania, and we've got lots of updates about other places too. An IBM supercomputer, as we talked about the cure to coronavirus, which is 2 widely available drugs, studied in France, and showed a 100% efficacy rate after a treatment of only 6 days. IBM supercomputer identifies 77 compounds that could fight coronavirus. So if you want to read about that, as I forecasted this too, as I said, drugs like Cefzil, which is a second-generation cephalosporin antibiotic, are likely to be effective against COVID-19, as it's just a virus, folks. It's just a virus. It's not all that scary. We've also put up some simple tips to help you avoid fake coronavirus news, as people have been accusing me of spreading lies on the internet and gaslighting me for things that are utterly untrue. Children are vital to slowing the pandemic, and it's because kids are affected completely differently in terms of their immune system. Plus, kids are worse at doing things like hygiene than adults are, and they're worse at following any of the rules. So this is why one of the most important things to do is to close schools. However, the rest of reality isn't necessarily that bad. And don't go out and get coughed on, folks, just because there appear to be various cures emerging for COVID-19. And let's talk about America's shopping list. We've actually put up an NPR article, believe it or not. Believe it or not, Smash is in the bunker. I never thought I had so much TP. Flying off shelves are mainly these things: aerosol disinfectants, thermometers, rubbing alcohol, and multi-purpose cleaners. Anyway, there's the data on that. The top 3 dried foods are dried beans, rice, and black beans. The top 3 food meat alternates are canned meat, fresh chicken, and cooked chicken. The top 3 snacks are popcorn, pretzels, and potato chips. The top 3 fruits and vegetables are apples, bananas, and papayas. The top 3 vegetables are oat milk, powdered milk products, and water. And the declining categories are perfume, sunscreen, and vegetable party platters. Lastly, we put up one more thing about the unparalleled challenge. Check it out. Cities across the country are locked down and looking like ghost towns, whether it's San Francisco or New York. Check it out. There's San Francisco. Practically nobody out there. Here's San Francisco Airport. There's more San Francisco. New York also on lockdown. I don't know if we only have photos of the Bay Area here. Anyway, check it out, smAsho.com/forum. We're updating it on the daily. Apparently folks are flying in Chicago. There's some more empty airports. More images of San Francisco. Looking like straight ghost towns, folks. Look for images like this from New York coming out today also. It's all available in one thread. And by the way, it's smAsho.com/forum/topic/coronavirus. Share that link with your friends, your foes, your noobs and your pros. Now, there's going to be a lot of winners coming out of the stock market as a result of this crash. And one of the biggest losers currently on the big board is FLIR Systems. Now, FLIR Systems is an important emerging forward-looking infrared radar company that's going to be relevant in the future. And the reason that they're crashing is undoubtedly because they can't get parts from China right now, as there's kind of a global shipping shutdown in various sectors. So perhaps this could be a winner. And this is going to be something that folks are going to make a lot of money on, because the stock market's going to recover, folks. So FLIR Systems, I mean, look, one of the ways that people make a lot of money is what's called dead cat trading. I used to do a little bit of it, as there are many millionaires and billionaires all around the world who survive on dead cat trading. And what that means is when a stock crashes, even if it's going to completely die and go down to zero, there is still typically a bounce after a large decline. And what that means is, well, when you throw a cat off of a tall building, even though it's going to die when it hits the ground, it will bounce. And stocks typically do the same. So day traders and swing traders are all too aware of this. And so that's another word of wisdom today from during this space weather news, as, hey, keep in mind, folks, the sun is largely in control of the economy. So while money tries to hide in various places, it looks like there was some more bond purchasing. The dollar looks strong as everybody tries to hide in dollars. And while central banks around the world are inflating their money supply, the dollar still looks better because it is used in so many transactions around the world, and it's very trusted, as the U.S. is the U.S. Enough said on that. So we've been a little bit critical of Facebook lately, and I just wanted to state that, hey, Facebook, nicely done, as Facebook's algorithms have removed some of our posts and then reinstated the posts. So cheers to Facebook. You got to give credit where credit is due. And even companies that generally do the wrong thing, when they do the right thing, we cite that too. Other companies pretty much never do the right thing. We'll just leave them unmentioned. Total confirmed cases of COVID-19 are 275,452. Total deaths, 11,402. Total recovered, 88,258. Here's the current graph to give you a visual. And I'm just going to hit refresh here just to show you that it's fully refreshed as we stream live. And let's see if we have any comments. I don't think we do. Please leave a comment if you're viewing on a different platform. Next, we'll look at the volcano rundown, which includes Kluchovskoye producing a 23,000-foot plume of ash. Mount Aso, flight level 5,000 there. Sakurajima, flight level 7,000 there. Mount Manam, back on the list, exploding, 10,000 foot ash plume there. Cleveland in the Aleutian Islands. And so that one's erupting too. Some lava flows, and there could be an aviation hazard coming soon. Popocatépetl dissipated its ash. Sanchaguito in Guatemala continued degassing plume expulsion, and that is about a 9,000 foot ash plume there. I'll say 11,000 just to be safe. Don't try to pole vault Sanchaguito. Pacaya back on the list. White and blue fumaroles. So some eruptions going on there. And tremors associated with the rise of magma and gases. Fuego exploding. 15,000 foot plume there. As well as some lava. Sabancaya, unable to detect. And the same with Nevados de Chilean. Please do not attempt to pole vault either of those caldera. Next, we're going to look at nullschool.net. Excuse me. Don't worry, folks. It's not COVID-19. At least I don't think it is. And if it is, my immune system is going to go and squash it like bug. Just like yours will, too. Most likely. Anyway, here are the Eastern jets. Here are the Western jet streams. And we've got extreme meridional jet stream flow blowing warm air up into the northeast, as well as doubled up and tripled up jet streams all over the place. Check out the oddball jet stream flow there. It's practically beyond meridional at this point. It's just all over the place. Next, we'll look at water vapor maps. Here is Africa and Europe. Here's Oceania, me vanishing, and the Far East. Here's the cloud cover over the U.S. despite it being dark. We like to show people stuff that's not obvious and provide some insight into some of the weirder aspects of science on our channel. One of the ways we see clouds at nighttime is by using the shortwave radiation satellite, as water vapor emits radiation. And so this satellite calculates where the clouds are based on that. And there's the current cloud cover over the U.S. Here's the water vapor map. And today we're going to zoom in on Missouri, as there's a big pressure gradient moving through. Keep in mind, folks, dry air is more massive than moist air and is largely in control of what happens with the weather. So everybody I know, they pay attention to low pressure zones because that's where precipitation comes from, and that is a counterintuitive thing to do. And it has to do with the molecular weight of nitrogen versus the molecular mass or weight of water vapor. Water vapor, a real greenhouse gas. You ever notice how it stays warmer at night when it's cloudy, folks? That's the greenhouse effect of water vapor. So water vapor, heavy cloud cover makes days colder and nights warmer. And if you're flying north to south over that area, expect some turbulence, as a plane going this way, when it gets to this pressure gradient, is going to hit a wall of air right there. All right. Here's the U.S. Doppler radar map as we show continued value-added services. And I believe the rain is going to miss us today. Perhaps a good day for bike riding. We're expecting highs around 50 degrees here in eastern Pennsylvania. And for you new viewers, I'm located in Lehigh Valley, just west of Socialist Nightmare, New Jersey. Anyway, there's where the lightning strikes are happening. And it looks like they're mainly happening down there in Mexico, where there is some sudden cloud nucleation happening. If you're viewing from Mexico, well, that area is unpopulated. But if you want to predict things like thunder and freak out your friends, freak out your foes, check out lightningmaps.org. Hey, Smash Team! Thanks for tuning into the video. Please continue to leave comments, as we will continue to inform, annoy, and amuse. Thanks to our patrons, and consider becoming a patron if you're not, to ensure the likelihood that these videos will continue to exist publicly, and not only to people who pay us to make the content, as YouTube tries its best to pay us nothing by demonetizing our videos. So thanks again to our patrons, the real source of funding for this content. Whether you're an assistant producer or an associate producer at the intro or gold tiers, we appreciate your patronage. And that credit crawl is coming soon, folks. Don't worry, it's happening. We're also on Subscribestar, the latest foray into crowdfunding. So perhaps check us out there. The tier is different. It's $3 a month there, and it's $1 a month or $9.99 a month on Patreon. Lastly, we're going to look at 3 more images of the sun, one moving, this one not, to show you that there are 0 sunspots. So all those active regions up north of the equator there, no umbre, no sunspots. Here's the magnetogram, the colorized magnetogram. And you can see those 3 areas of magnetic organization, one there, and one there, forming a Dorito-shaped equilateral triangle on the sun, prompting people who don't know their from a hole in the ground to look and go, "Oh my God, it's a jack-o'-lantern forming! No! We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die!" All right, I apologize for that. And lastly, let's look at the 131 angstroms view. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Here's a 48-hour image of the local yellow dwarf in 131 angstroms. Remember, stare at the sun, attempt to understand cosmology, don't drink, and if you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back, and that atherosclerosis and COVID-19 absent from your arteries. More content coming later today.